Hello friends, it's GooberTroy here. We've been spoiled with a flurry of hotfixes and changes being implemented by the Wicked devs since its initial weeks of release, and now things have been a little quiet. The multiplayer aspect of No Rest for the Wicked is something that I'm especially interested in, so I wanted to compile a list of things that we've seen mentioned by Thomas, the director of Moon Studios, as well as some things that are open-ended that I hope we can get some answers on. First, let's go over what we know about the multiplayer so far. This has mainly been through discussions on Twitter, so we haven't really seen anything confirmed yet other than just word of mouth saying that things are happening. Thomas has stated that they are going to allow players to create new realms to play with friends. These realms will be always on, meaning they won't need to be hosted by a player. As for the progression of these realms, it seems like they will leave it up to the players on how we will want to progress things. If one player is really itching to progress, they can do so in this multiplayer realm, and when others join, there might be some sort of alert or update system that tells these players who are just logging on what's changed since they were last active. This freedom, I think, is meant to let players decide on how they want to run their realms instead of just restricting things from the start. As for the realm sizes, it sounds like 4 is going to be the magic number, so you can expect to play with up to 3 other friends on a single realm. Multiplayer comes with a few changes though. First, friendly fire is likely to be enabled, meaning you can't just mindlessly blast a single target. You may have to be a little bit more methodical. To me, this seems fine against the larger enemies, but if you're all trying to smack a small mob, like a risen archer, for example, I wonder if that's going to make it feel like there are too many cooks in the kitchen. That being said, the world will scale with how many players are active on the realm. The difficulty scales by giving enemies more health, and the spawn frequency of difficult enemies increases. Now before we continue on with this video, I just want to do some quick self-plugging, and so for that I apologize, but nearly 98% of my viewers aren't subscribers. As a small channel like mine, every sub is just immensely appreciated, so if you're enjoying this type of content and you want to see more like this in the future, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Now continuing on with the video. In this next section, I want to talk about exclusively the PvP. Right now, PvP is a bit of an enigma. We don't really know that many details, so a lot of this is going to just be speculation and left open to discussion. So to get things started, let me know what you guys want to see out of the PvP in No Rest for the Wicked. As of right now, the only confirmed modes we will have are arenas. These will be an opt-in only form of PvP, so there are no forced invasions. That being said, I think some form of invasions, even if it's opt-in, could be pretty fun, especially with friendly fire on. Imagine if it was something like Elden Ring where you could only invade multiplayer sessions and you'd come in for like a 1 versus 2. The pair you invade would have to be a little bit more strategic instead of just mindlessly spamming attacks for fear of friendly fire and staggering each other. To me, it sounds like there could be a lot of skill expression there, especially if you're the invader. But going back to arenas, there haven't really been any confirmed formats for these. I personally hope that we get a 1 versus 1 and 2v2 formats. 2 versus 2 would build off of that desire to have 4 players max instances, since the devs already felt that 4 was that magic number. And if in the case of there being 2 versus 2 formats, I hope that friendly fire is enabled in those types of arenas because, again, I think it allows for more skill expression and you don't just mindlessly attack. You have to be a little bit more methodical. As always with any form of multiplayer PvP, cheaters are always a concern, but we shouldn't have to worry about that because if a cheater is caught, their account will be flagged as a cheater, and then that account will only be placed in queues against other cheaters. There will also be a ranked ladder in place for these arena modes, meaning that for those of you who are pretty competitive out there, you will have something to grind for. One thing that I hope that we do get to see for PvP and these arenas is some sort of catered or player created instances. I want to be able to create my own arena, like my own 2v2, so that I can host like tournaments, like I can have people come in and watch these 1 versus 1s and just kind of create content around that. I think that would really be great for the community, but we'll see what happens because I think that there are some discussions around having like proposed duels and stuff like that you can do in town. None of that's really been confirmed though, but I think that would be something that would be healthy for the game. Finally, I want to ask you all a question about gear in PvP. For arenas specifically, do you think gear enchants should be enabled in PvP? I ask because it would suck trying to farm out all of this gear only for it to be irrelevant in a PvP environment because your enchants that you grinded for are disabled. However, I would be a little concerned for the balance of PvP if all enchants are enabled. I know it's early access and things are still very volatile in terms of balance, but still I am just a little concerned seeing some of the builds that we have right now. So my initial thoughts are to only have the rings and weapon enchants enabled, or possibly as an alternative, just have all of your enchants enabled, but just scaled down very heavily. So again, let me know what you guys think about gear and the enchantments in the comments below. Multiplayer in No Rest for the Wicked has got me really excited. The early access content already has me so hooked, and being able to play with or against my friends is very appealing. I'm very competitive in nature, so knowing PvP is coming makes me just want to grind even more in preparation. That's going to be it for me though. This was GooberTroy saying thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.